Hello, everybody, and welcome to Theory of Anything podcast number 12.
Somebody's excited to be here.
I'm so excited. You wouldn't believe.
Wow.
Can you believe it? We're here again.
Yeah.
I think I can.
Have you been drinking too much Coca-Cola, Devon?
Could be the case.
No, it's in the heart.
I won't deny it.
Oh.
That's all my energy gone for the episode, by the way.
Okay, no, relax.
And relax.
Nearly busted my headphone speakers.
For the first-time listeners, my name is Devon, and my co-hosts are here, Andy. You okay?
Hello.
Andy?
Yes, I'm Mel. Thank you.
Excellent. And Ford. How are you doing, Ford?
Good day. Yeah, I'm pretty good. Thank you very much.
Excellent. So we just chat about whatever's kind of on our mind or anything that's going on in tech and film or whatever. From last week, do you guys have any pickups? Because I've got one.
Oh, okay. I don't think anything's come back to my direction. So what has happened your side? Tell us what you've got there.
So we got an email in saying it's from Judy/Mumsy or Mum. You know.
That's mine and Devon's. It's not yours.
Not my mum.
No.
My mum's welcome to send any comments she likes anytime. Because I know she likes to listen. I've mentioned that before.
She says in her email, "Hi all. Whilst listening to Ford's segment this week, it reminded me of the film The Butterfly with Pierce Brosnan, 2007.
That was my segment on tropes. That was
Exactly.
Oh, yes.
And in that, she says that she won't say anything about it, but if you like films that have character twists, then she highly recommends it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That might be one for a future watch, do you think?
Yeah, it rings a bell, but I don't think I've seen
I-
it before. So.
I don't know it. I must admit, I don't know it. From 2007, I might have to Google that, yeah. Ah,
how exciting.
wow, a recommendation. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very good. She doesn't say what character trope, or just a
Character
twist. Yeah. Which was one of the tropes that Deb Ford talked about last time.
Main character's love interest turning out to be the bad guy.
Oh yeah.
That would
That's
be one of the character twists I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But if we do go and look at that film now, we'll kind of have an idea that something's going to
Yeah.
kind of take the surprise out of it.
Unless it's a double twist and there's no twist at all. We've been faked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. Call my bluff. Yeah.
Well, thanks.
Anything else? Yeah, thank you for that.
I did want to say, now that the Easter period is in our rearview mirror, happy Easter.
Only
everybody.
just. Yeah, happy Easter.
Happy
Yeah.
Easter.
We're fast approaching my new favourite day of the year.
Oh.
Yeah, Husband Appreciation Day.
What? That's not a date.
It is a day, apparently.
I've never heard of it.
Really? Oh, it is. It's the
What day
18th
is
of
it?
April.
Wow.
Yes, apparently traditionally, the wife is meant to give the husband a compliment.
Oh,
Is
wow.
that it?
Well, I mean, maybe cook his favourite meal.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's great.
I would mind a compliment every now and then, that's
It's
for sure.
something to look forward to. Yeah, it's great.
Oh, I've never heard of it. Coincidentally, it's the day before my wife's birthday, so so if she compliments me on the 18th, might buy her a present on the 19th.
Maybe.
Depending on how she compliments you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Apparently, Wives Appreciation Day actually falls on my birthday, so
Oh, does it?
yeah, I feel like I dodged a
Wow.
bullet there.
Yeah.
It's great.
Wow, I
You
didn't
see-
know that was a thing.
It shows an education, ain't it? Yeah. Very good.
Well,
Very good.
well, thanks
Paps,
for that, Ford.
I believe you were talking about something off air that you wanted to share.
Oh yeah, when I first came in our pre-recording chat, I've just come straight from watching the recording I made last night from, I believe it was broadcast on Sky One, the live concert of the Freddie Mercury tribute concert, and basically it's the Queen band, recorded in 1993. I don't know where it was recorded actually, which stadium it was in. But what I can't get out of my head is the sound, and I really recommend anybody who loves a bit of Queen music or 80s music in general.
Oh yeah.
YouTube search for Annie Lennox and David Bowie singing Under Pressure, and your ears will love you for the rest of your life. I can't get it out of my head. I want to watch it again and again and again. I've seen that clip before as a YouTube clip, but to watch it in the full context of the whole concert just is amazing. There's some great other guest singers on the concert as well. They kind of took one of Queen's songs each, and very good, very good.
Should we put the link in the description below, do you think?
We can do, yeah. Let's do that.
Goodness.
Okay.
Do you think you'd have similar feelings if you're actually at the concert at that time?
I think you would. It crossed my mind. I was watching it thinking, if you were there, you would never forget this. It really was one of those shows, I think, that I think you could never forget it. It'd be lovely to hear from anybody who was there, 1993, but I don't know where it was. I'd have to have a look into that. But it was a massive stadium. It was 2 years after Freddie Mercury had died, and I think it was an AIDS, to raise money for AIDS
charity,
research.
Yeah.
And but what a lineup of performers! It was brilliant.
1993. I was a year old then.
I know.
I remember it well.
Another conversation I had earlier today, I know we're wandering off topic, we should get started, was I was reminiscing something that happened 40 years ago, and I was telling my wife, I was like, how can I have conversations about something that happened 40 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
And I'd been 13 40 years ago, so
Wow.
That's quite phenomenal, isn't it? Bit scary. You wait, it'll come to you.
Oh no.
Anyway,
Excellent.
enough of this waffle, flim flam.
Of course, yes. On
Let's
with the
get
show.
On with the show.
Forwards. Segment. Subject.
Now, for this segment, we need to go way back to the beginning of time itself,
Oh.
and then swiftly fast forward to the 2nd century AD, because I want to talk about something that happened. Do either of you know what the only interesting thing to happen in the 2nd century AD was?
No.
No.
Oh, no? Okay. The first ever appearance of aliens in fiction.
Really? What?
Yes.
In the 2nd century?
AD, yes.
Really? Oh, you're okay. I'm listening.
Yes, it's ironically called, it's a novel, it's called A True Story.
Yeah.
It's about a naval ship that's sailing along. It hits a fountain and it gets pelted way up to the moon, where they meet aliens who are at war with aliens who live on the sun.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Second century?
Yeah.
That was a concept, an idea in an author's mind. Wow.
Apparently so.
What were the aliens like? Do you know?
Well, I don't know, I haven't read it. This is all a giant segue.
Okay.
Sounds like
Fine,
pretty
way
fun
of
story to me, I have to
introduction.
say.
I don't know. Would it be interesting if they pictured them as having big brains like we do now? Or they have to be hyper intelligent, or they not actually realise that, like, dense brains or big brains has anything to do with intelligence or anything?
That would be an interesting topic to look into, but
What they
I did
would
not.
think they look like.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's just begging to be made into a film. Okay, I see it now. Yeah. I'd call it definitely not a true story, but it's fine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to talk about aliens, the best aliens in fiction.
Okay.
So I'm going to pit 2 of my favourite aliens against each other, and then another 2 and another 2. And we're going to whittle them down to find the winner, the best alien.
Okay.
Yes, don't worry, I don't have loads of these, so don't sigh too hard.
Okay.
Looking forward to it.
8 alien races, 7 rounds. Here we go.
Oh.
Okay,
Wow.
so it doesn't have to be like they're the strongest, or it's not a fight, but
Okay.
who's the best, you know?
It's like top trumps, is it? For
Yeah, I guess. You guys are going to have
Which
to
one
tell
you
me
prefer? Yeah.
which one moves on to the next round.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
It's not which one can kill the other one or anything like that. It's just
Nah.
Oh, so
which one you prefer.
okay.
Yeah. Okay, so in the first round.
Come up.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think it will. Because in the first round, we've got the Vogons
Okay.
from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy
Yeah.
versus the Ferengi
Oh wow.
Oh, right. Okay.
from Star Trek. Sorry.
Yeah. And what way are they competing?
Well, that's up to you. You tell me.
Any way you like.
If it's
prefer them or not. Or...
deadly poetry, then it would be the Vogons.
Good point.
If it was stylish earwear, it would be Ferengi. The Ferengi are well known for being wheelers and dealers, aren't they?
Yeah.
They kind of do a deal and are very stingy and miserly, so they're good at saving money, so they're financially astute. But the Ferengi are destructive, ferocious, bit slovenly, fat.
Oh, you mean the Vogons?
Yeah, what did I say?
You said Ferengi again.
Sorry, Ferengi.
But they're very bureaucratic, aren't they, the Vogons?
Oh yes, very bureaucratic, yeah. So they're totally opposite, aren't they?
I think the Vogons have more of an interesting character than the Ferengi, I think. Because the Vogons are it's the most disgusting, despicable race there is. And it's kind of throw them into the universe. And it's quite interesting how they interact with other species. And even their cooks are cooking badly because they hate the Vogons.
Yes.
I
think this is very interesting. So I'd probably nominate the Vogons.
Okay, yeah, I think the Vogons beat the Ferengi, yeah, definitely.
Okay, all our Trekkie fans are going to be disappointed, but there we go. Daleks versus Predator.
Oh, I got Predator on my shortlist. I'm glad you mentioned Predator.
I didn't ask you to do a shortlist, but that's fine.
I know, but I didn't know that. I saw you wanted to talk about aliens, and I wrote 2 down, and Predator was one of them. Yeah.
Sweet. So Daleks from Doctor Who and Predator from
not aliens,
Predator.
From Predator, yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to favour Predator.
Oh, you're not a Who fan, eh?
I am, because I've got another one from the Who universe.
Ah. Well, you're going to be disappointed.
Oh, it might not come up.
No, it won't. Well, we can swap the Daleks out for Cybermen if you like. How's that?
That was going to be my other favourite alien, yeah.
Would you prefer Cybermen versus Predator?
I think Predator would beat Cybermen, but Cybermen is my favourite Who alien, yeah.
Devon, how do you feel about Predator beating?
I feel like the Daleks are more iconic than Predator.
Yeah.
So if you're going off how much of an impact they've had in pop culture, then
I think
Daleks are pretty good at that. But I do like Predator as well. So if you're strongly on Predator, then I'm happy to join you on that.
Dalek, probably more people hid behind their cushions watching Daleks, and they've got that kudos about them. But as far as Annette, they kind of wanted to take over the universe, didn't they?
Yeah.
But Predator's a bit more scary to me. Yeah.
Oh, you're going to have to make a decision.
I personally like Predator. I'll go for Predator.
Okay. All right then.
Predator. Jolly good.
Two votes for Predator. Yeah.
So we've got the Goa'uld from Stargate, which is one of my favourites.
Oh yeah.
And the prawns from District 9. I had to throw that in because I know Devon loves the District 9.
Yeah. I actually thought about the prawns when I
I'm going to have to watch that film again. I can't comment very greatly on it.
So the Goa'uld are literally slugs.
Yeah, there were.
Oh, they do. They go inside.
Symbiotes, aren't they?
Symbiotes, yeah. And
so if they're actually in a fight, then the prawns are big prawn-like creatures.
Oh yeah.
They're taller than men and they're stronger than men.
Yeah.
And they've got the ships and guns and everything.
Of course.
But they're dumb as well, though, aren't they? In that film.
In that particular part in the film, yeah. But that's because they were in a locked away and being sick and everything. But obviously they make their own ships and everything, so they're not actually.
So the Goa'uld versus the prawns. What do you think?
I'll have to step out of that decision because I'm not best placed to.
So the Goa'uld quite successfully took over the galaxy.
Mm.
Yeah.
No, very, very good and save millions of people.
They make your eyes go shiny, don't they?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're pretty good, and they live inside people. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I do like the pawns, but they're quite it's mediocre. There's nothing really interesting about them, so
Okay.
they're just like the classic alien. So I'll probably go for Gorble.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. 4th round: Wookiee versus Wookiees from Star Wars
Yeah.
and the Na'vi from the Avatar universe.
Oh.
Yeah, big blue aliens with
Yeah.
ponytails, weird stuff.
Very good.
Yes. I thought they were very similar because they're all tree-dwelling folk and whatnot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
A Wookiee for me, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
It depends how we're judging them, doesn't it? I mean, neither of them are fearsome in my eyes.
Really?
But my favourite would be the Wookiees.
I think the Wookiees obviously, as I say, more iconic as well because of the impact they've had in Star Wars. But the Na'vi are really, really cool in the fact that they can meld with these dragons and like have them as like a pet or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah,
they
with
fly.
Same
fly them,
ponytails
don't
that they have sex with.
Yeah, exactly.
Very awkward.
Oh dear. Yeah.
So I think they're quite cool, but I don't know. I'm going to say maybe Wookiees.
Okay, then. Wookiee it is. Right, that's all of our alien races. Now we've got to verse off Vogon versus a predator.
Oof.
Well, the Predator's going to beat it in a fight, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
The only weapon that Vogon's got is making you sit down and listen to their poetry, or destroy your planet from orbit.
Yeah.
I don't think they're much use for anything else. So, I think Predator beats Vogon, and it's probably more in the conscious of the sci-fi universe.
I don't know where I stand with this. It's kind of like the same argument I had with the pawns. Is that the Predator is very it's a classic alien, but there's nothing too different about it. Really. There's nothing like new, there's not a new like theme or
It's
concept about
invisible.
the alien. That's happened loads of times.
Yeah.
I think
It's got a super technology. It's a hunting machine, isn't it?
There's not a lot of depth to it, though, in terms of story. It just takes the background. It's just a big monster that you got to hide from.
Yeah.
in terms of coolness and being like, I really like Predator.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like the Vogons have more interest about them.
Okay.
But I can concede if you want.
Okay. Yeah, no, Vogons have a better storyline, don't they? A better back story, rather.
Yes, okay. So we're coming close to the end now. Goa'uld versus Wookiees.
So who do we want to be in the final, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a semi-final, isn't it?
Yeah.
Go on, you make a choice, because I'm
Me?
not a big Stargate aficionado.
Okay.
Mavis definitely hates it.
Yeah, but
I know a lot about it.
Ford's got to help, I think.
Do I? Oh,
Yeah.
my days.
Is it just down to us two?
Well, it was. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
So I know quite a lot about both of them.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to have to say... Oh, I'm so torn. The Goa'uld are more interesting, that's for sure.
Mhm.
But the Wookiees more iconic because obviously it's Star Wars.
Yeah.
And Chewbacca and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I
we
can't
only
not
really
put
know-
Chewbacca in the final.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but we only know one Wookiee, really, don't we? We see a bunch of them in one of the films.
Star
from
Wars
the
Episode 3. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's it, and so okay, have Chewie then.
Okay. So it's Chewie versus the Vogons.
Vogons. How did we get here?
Yeah. Right. Oh dear.
Oh gosh, I know who I want to win.
You want
Yeah.
Vogons to win, don't you?
Yeah,
I can get behind that for sure.
because that's
Yes.
my preferred universe out of the two. But yeah.
Well, that seems fair to me.
But
I have to
you're
say.
comparing a race of hairy carpets with jellified slobs, but you know, but the carpets they're not bad guys, are they?
No.
So which is our favourite out of those two?
Yeah.
Not
Switch would you
who's-
prefer to win? Not
Who's best? Yeah.
yeah, not who would be able to beat the other one.
Okay then.
Right, so it's Vogons, is it? There you go.
I think so.
Yeah.
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 The best aliens in all of those 8 people thing I like to think of.
Universes. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. What universes did you miss anything from? I think
I
you've
dunno.
got them all. I can think
Well, all the
of.
big ones, I don't know, there is loads.
Yeah.
That's Star Wars, Stargate, Star Trek.
Yeah. Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
Firefly.
No, that's all humans.
Oh, you could have had Cylons. Cylons.
Yeah, from the
Yeah,
Battlestar Galactica universe, yeah. But they're not aliens, are
They're
they?
not aliens. They're man-made, aren't they?
Human.
Robots.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Anyway, all this to say is I like aliens. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm glad my two favourite got mentioned, even though neither of them won.
Fair enough.
The Cybermen and the Predator.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm glad Vogons won.
I think Vogons are pretty iconic, I have to say.
Yeah.
Well,
I am
anyway.
I am it. Since we recorded last time about talking about hitchhikers, and I was promoting that series of the 42nd anniversary to listen to. I've since been rehearsing the Vogon poem that's used in the and I try and read it every day so that I can use it as my party piece.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So watch this space. Next time we're allowed to all get together in one room, I'll see how it goes.
I'm very happy you said that.
Yeah.
I thought that.
Oh, frettled want bodily.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, I won't say anymore.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that's
you
the end
forward
of
for
that
that.
section, yes. And on that note, moving on.
Devon's segment. Subject.
It's my section now.
Yeah.
I can do what I want.
Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about and ask you guys about what you think is probably, maybe not the most, but films that you think are underrated in today's society, or maybe didn't do so well at the box office, or films that were critiqued badly that you actually think are quite decent, or you actually like quite a lot. So, if you like to start things off, I've got a few of mine.
Okay.
Have you guys ever seen Sunshine?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. It was on
That's-
my possible. Yeah. Yeah. That was one I was going to.
Yeah.
So that's when a crew is going to the sun to
Yeah.
do something, and they will end up dying, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really see any reference to it, hardly at all,
No.
in pop culture, or I don't think it did so well. But I think it's actually quite good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, and it stuck in my brain quite a lot. So, I liked it.
It's got a horror side to it, hasn't it?
Oh yeah,
There's an alien element to it. Yeah, it's a very good
Really?
film. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Sunshine has got 3 superhero cast members in it, who are now in superhero films that weren't at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, you got Chris Evans, who obviously plays Captain America. You got Benedict Wong, who plays Wong, Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And then you've got the guy who plays what's his name, Scarecrow in the Batman film.
Oh right. Wow.
Yeah, and they were all on Sunshine before they got big, you know.
It's a nice snap fact for you.
Yeah.
I'll give you a second one. You guys seen Phone Booth?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh.
Is that underrated?
I think so. Do you know? Jason think so?
That's the one where there's a guy in a
Yeah.
phone booth.
Yeah. Basically, and there's
Colin
there's
Farrell,
snipers looking at him
yeah.
and they're trying to get stuff.
It's a very tense film, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had me pulled in for the entire time.
Yeah.
I've only watched it once, and that's because I can't see it streamed anywhere.
Oh,
If I saw it available, then I would go and watch it for sure. Or maybe if I saw it in like an OTV shop or something, I could.
I think the sniper is trying to make the guy in the phone booth confess to his wife about him being a douchebag or something.
That's it. Yeah.
And he won't do it, so he ends up making him do other things and shooting people or something. I don't know, I can't remember.
So,
It's a pretty tense film.
So
I've
there's
got
a
it.
couple of
Got
mine.
it if you want to borrow the DVD.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've just checked my spreadsheet. I've got it. Yeah. So that's a good watch.
Yeah, that's a couple of mine. Has any jumped out to you?
You go first, Ford.
Yeah, right. I thought of one, Maverick.
Yeah.
It's a Western comedy. I don't know if it is underrated or not, but actually, no, I'm looking at the scores here. 66 on Rotten Tomatoes, so...
Really? Is that it? I
Yeah,
thought it was quite a classic.
Well, I think it's a classic, but clearly the tomato people think not.
Yeah.
It's a 1994 film. Anyway, it's really fun. It's got poker element. It's got a gunslinger element. It's all great.
Yeah.
I love
I've
it.
seen it once.
I don't know. I've not seen it. It's
Oh, really?
comedy, it says on IMDb. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It's not one I know. Yeah.
I'd love to explain the story, but it's a bit
Mel
complicated.
Gibson film. Yeah. Jodie Foster. I should know it.
Yeah. Surprised you don't know it.
Yeah. It gets 7 out of 10 on IMDb.
Yeah, but what do they know?
That's the whole point of the segment.
Yeah.
Oh,
7's a good score.
oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So varying reviews. Let's say that.
It's
Yeah.
decent anyway. Yeah. What about you, Dad?
Well, I thought of a couple that I wanted to mention, but somebody might say they're thought of well. The first one I was going to say was the original Tron film.
Oh wow. Yeah. That's on Disney Plus.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that film, and it impacted me greatly when I first saw it because, and it's showing its age now, but
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
It was showing its age when I first watched it 10 years ago.
But can you imagine? Let me just have a look at when it first came out. I'll pull it off my shelf.
1982.
Thank you.
Wow.
10 years before I was born.
Turn to the visuals when that first came out. That was very impressive, you know. Yeah, so Tron for me would be one. And a second one, which I've spoken of before on the podcast, is a favourite film of mine called Contact.
Yes.
And I don't know that it's that well. I think it's highly thought of, but not very well known. Let me just see if I can find it.
Yes. This.
Oh, I've seen this one.
1997, another Jodie Foster film, actually.
It was
Yeah.
referenced in a Rick and Morty episode.
Was it?
Yeah.
In a what episode?
Rick and Morty.
I don't know what you mean.
Oh, yeah. Good.
So,
It's a rude program that only naughty people watch, Devon.
Oh, really?
you watch it.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Okay. It's going way over my head, that conversation.
Contact
Yeah.
is weird, isn't it?
It's a great film. It's a
She
great film. I love
she
it.
actually meets, like, goes to the aliens, and they don't actually
Yeah.
talk to her rightly, or they make like a world for her or something.
Spoiler alert.
It's-
On the beach.
We've used it. We've used it at one of our Men's Ministry film nights. We like to watch contemporary films, non-Christian films, and then converse and chat about them afterwards,
Oh, yeah.
and see what. And there is a spiritual element to this film because her boyfriend is a man of faith, and she's a woman of science, and this whole idea whether the artificial extraterrestrial intelligence that provide the plans for the mysterious machine is real or not. Her experiences in the film, whether they were real or imagined. Great film. I'd love us to watch it and review it on the podcast sometime.
I think that's point. You're right on the money, because I think that definitely is a really good film, and I don't think it is given enough credit.
Oh,
So it is-
okay.
Bit of a
I found
slow
one.
paced one, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. Slow. It's
all
not an
about-
action film.
It's all
an
about
action
trying
film,
to make contact, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's quite tense because she's like,
Yeah.
correct me if I'm remembering wrong, but she's trying to get the program to actually start or get funding, like get
Yes.
approval and things like that.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
that'd be
even though
my
I find that fun.
I'd call it slow pace. That's
It
what.
builds and builds, and you're left not really sure what's really happened at the end. So
Payoff is huge.
yeah, it is. Yeah. So they're my two: Tron and Contact.
Lovely. Ford?
Well, I can't really think of another one. Yeah, that's the only underrated film in all the world.
Maverick.
Yep. If I had a genie and I could fix any problem, it would be the Maverick would be better.
Or received better. Yeah.
Yeah, better received.
Yeah. Appreciated more.
Yeah. I've got
Okay.
some more.
Go on then.
This one, not a film. It's a TV series that I watched, and I've never seen anyone talk about it at all. It's called Flesh and Bone. It's what I thought you were talking about when you talked about Flesh and Blood.
Oh yes, the
And I
other
was
week.
like, no, it's something else. Yeah. So it's a TV series about ballet. It's actually it's quite it's quite
2015. Yeah.
it's quite dramatic, and there's lots of like really good twists and things. I really liked it. I recommend it for sure. But I've never seen anyone talk about it at all, and I don't think it's really rated. So I was like, I'll throw that in there, even though it's not a film.
Okay.
My next one is Jumper.
Oh yeah, that was a good film. I like that, but I don't think it didn't go down very well with the critics.
It didn't.
Think.
No, exactly.
I like the ideas behind it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 'cause everyone hated
Hayden Christensen. Yeah.
Yeah.
By that point, yeah.
I think so. People didn't like it because of Star Wars.
It only got 6.1 out of 10, but I did enjoy watching it. You're right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I liked it as well. And then
Samuel L. Jackson in it. Yeah.
And then this second to last one is a bit of a controversial one. It is Sucker Punch.
Oh.
That one was
Exactly.
weird.
Exactly. So a lot of people will be like, well, it's just guns and girls and just nonsense.
It is nonsense, yes.
But you can extract quite a lot from it in the story and different metaphors that line up with each other. So I think the critics just went, what is this trash nonsense, and rated it really badly. But the story behind it all, and which characters represent what, and all this kind of like underlying stuff made it quite interesting.
If I remember correctly, it's about 3 people, I believe, 3 girls who are trying to. They're in an insane asylum or something. Quite a few girls, and they're trying to break out. But then every time they come across a conflict, it switches up to a fantasy world where they're whooping all sorts of butt. Yeah. And
I
then
think I have seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have seen it, but it obviously didn't leave much of an impact. I think. Yeah.
On the surface, it's very low impactful. It's very much like there's not much going on, but you definitely can dig a lot into it, and that's why I find it interesting. But I do admit that it is debatable. Maybe it has just as much as it deserves if it doesn't make it obvious enough of all the stuff going on, metaphors going on, and things like that. Now my last one is Unbreakable. I didn't include the other 2 films in this because I think Unbreakable is better, even though I do like the other 2 as well. Have you guys seen that?
I have. Yes, it's Bruce Willis. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's his face?
I haven't seen. I think there's been a second one, hasn't there?
Oh, there's been 3. There's been Unbreakable, Split, and Glass.
That's it. I haven't seen the last 2. I've only seen the first one. I did enjoy the first one. Did he survive a train accident?
Spoilers.
Yes.
Yeah, that's within the first 5 minutes of the film.
Yes, that's why I've forgotten it, because it's the first 5 minutes. Yeah. I think it's very, very good. I like it quite a lot. I think it keeps you on your toes. You don't really know what's going to happen. And I think, what's his name? What is the main guy's name?
Bruce Willis.
No, Bruce Willis isn't the main guy in. Oh no, I'm thinking of Split. No, I was thinking of Split and Unbreakable at the same time.
Okay.
But no, in Split, it's very different. I was going to say he plays that role.
Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
So he doesn't survive
I've not
a train
seen that one.
Not the second one, but it's the first one.
Okay.
One more I thought of was Kingdom of Heaven. It's about the
Oh, yeah.
Crusades, or at least
Yeah.
they're trying to defend it from the Muslim attack or whatever. It's really fun. Well, I think it's fun. It's quite gritty, actually. Maybe it's not that fun.
It's rated really badly on Rotten Tomatoes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I do have a bit of a soft spot for Crusade films, so maybe I'm being a bit biased. Yeah.
Wow.
What about 300?
Is that underrated?
I don't know, is it?
I think it's not rated very well. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Is it not? 300 is an epic film.
On Metacritic, it's got 52%. Rotten Tomatoes 60%. It's actually higher than I thought it would be.
7.6 on IMDb.
Yeah,
Out of
it's higher than I
10.
thought it would be. I think it achieves what it sets out to do. That's for
Yeah.
sure. It makes a really, really cool action film.
Yeah.
And lie about historical events.
Exactly.
Very good.
I'm amazed. I thought that film was quite highly praised.
I thought the opposite. I really enjoyed it for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might go back to this segment in the future if I'll watch something good that I may never see. You know?
Yeah. Got a few things for your watch list then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was the idea.
There is a sci-fi series that I think I may or may not have mentioned here before, and that's which I think is brilliant and not many people have seen, and that is The Expanse. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The Expanse, which is a great show. Watch. I think I have said
You
about
told
it.
me about this before, yeah.
Yeah. I'd recommend that to you. But I don't think it gets the accolade it deserves. Yeah.
To change our podcast to film podcast.
Well, you're going to have to switch to some of the other themes, categories perhaps we need to talk about. We might have to promise the listeners we won't talk about films for, say, 2 or 3 episodes.
Oh, it is. That's too much. Can't be done.
If we can do that.
Maybe it's a point like maybe you should write in if you like the film talk, or if you want less of it, or if you want me to talk about something completely different, then definitely write in and let us know.
Yeah, because we will talk about specific subjects if you want. Just jam it down in the comments below.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Paps. Segment. Subject.
Okay, well, if you can lend your ears or cast your ears back to episode 7,
Oh gosh.
Let me just go and watch it.
I spoke there about a magazine that I get every month called Sorted, and I flicked through it and we discussed some of the articles that were in it, and I said then I wanted to come back to one of the articles that was talking about marriage. So what I'm going to do, it's a very short article. I wanted to read it to you. I'm going to pause throughout the reading of it to hear your thoughts on what I've just said, and then we can have just a general conversation about it. So is that okay?
Yeah.
Cool. Right, so it's on page 76 of the March-April edition of Sorted magazine. Begins this. Men behaving gladly. Subheading, divorce rates are plummeting because men are deciding, not sliding, into marriage. Toxic masculinity, #MeToo, patriarchy, it's all bad news about men, isn't it? But here's a good news story about men doing better. Divorce rates have been falling since the 1980s. Because fewer wives are filing for divorce in the early years of marriage. Let's compare the first 10 years of marriage for couples who married in 1986, a group who had the highest divorce rates ever, and couples who married much more recently. Of the 1986 couples, 229 out of every 1,000 couples got divorced. Of those, 169 were initiated by wives and 60 by husbands. Of the 2007 couples, 172 out of 1,000 couples got divorced, so it's a lower amount. Of those, 110 were initiated by wives, so a good nearly 60 fewer women were initiating divorces. And around about the same, 62 were initiated by husbands. So again, women still initiating more divorces, but fewer of them. Amazing, over 2 decades, there's been almost no change at all in the rate of divorces initiated by husbands, and yet there's been a huge reduction in the rate of divorce initiated by wives. What do you think about those figures, boys? Any thoughts?
I think it's an alarming amount of people in total getting divorced. That's for sure.
Out of every 1,000 marriages, though, yeah.
Well, interesting enough, me and my wife were talking about this. We're talking about how when divorce became legal, everyone, especially Christian people, were like, this is the worst thing ever, you can't start letting people get divorced or whatever. But in actuality, it's really people trying to get out of toxic and horrible relationships, isn't it? It's allowing them to, it's not bad for marriage, it's actually allows good marriages to flourish and bad ones to stop, you know?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are legitimate reasons why divorce is necessary, aren't there? Yeah.
Definitely.
I think the complacent attitude towards divorce is a problem.
Yeah.
But there we go. That's another subject. Yeah.
It's very strange how see female or wife enacted divorces are going down, but the male one isn't changing.
No.
I don't really.
Let's
Never
see.
very consistent.
Shall I carry on reading and see what else is said then?
Definitely.
So the heading now is why the gender gap. There are only 2 possibilities. Either men haven't changed, but today's wives have become more tolerant of their husband's bad behaviour, or women haven't changed, but today's husbands are a lot better at making their wives happy. In an era of #MeToo, the first possibility is implausible. Women today are less likely to put up with bad behaviour, so you'd expect divorce rates to go up. Perhaps, as social pressure to marry has reduced, those men who might previously have been subtly pressured into marriage are no longer doing so, leaving only the men who want to marry doing so. That's a point, isn't it? Think about that for a moment. So because there's less pressure now to get married, marriage has become less of a thing for a lot of people. In other words, living together outside of marriage is becoming more commonplace or more acceptable by society. So people who do get married are really doing it for the right reasons, because they really want to.
And because they want to be married, they don't give their wives as much grief or work harder at it as well.
Yeah, because I suppose it's quite easy to get complacent, isn't it? So if you actually chose actively, then you've got some invested interest.
Yeah.
True.
But that doesn't mean people aren't breaking up. Those relationships could still be ending, can't they?
Of
They're
course,
They never end outside of marriage.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Which I suppose is a lot cleaner, because obviously marriage is very entangling, isn't it?
it is. Yeah,
It makes everything a lot more complicated.
that's true. Good point. I'll continue, shall I?
Yeah.
In the words of top US commitment research professor Scott Stanley, men are deciding, not sliding. This fits with a growing body of evidence that shows men and women seeing commitment in different ways. Men's commitment tends to revolve around a decision, an act of deliberate intent, the making of a clear plan. Right, let's do this thing. Women's commitment is more about attachment and begins when they move in with someone. With Britain leading the downtrend in divorce, we are beginning to see a similar pattern emerge across Europe. In 15 of the top 20 European nations, divorce rates are now beginning to fall in the early years of marriage. The relevance of this story to all of us men, married or not, is that if we want our relationships to work, we need to make a clear commitment to our future together. Let's do this thing, decide, don't slide. So that's it. That's the article. We've had a few
Wow.
interjections there, but I do think it's an interesting subject, and I'm really encouraged by that. I'm discouraged by the fact that perhaps marriage in general is becoming less popular, and people are choosing not to get married. But at the same token, those who are getting married are more committed to it, and more being more deliberate about those decisions and choices that they make.
Yeah.
I find the idea of men sort of getting married in sort of a casual, this is just going through the motions kind of way quite weird.
It's sad, isn't it?
Yeah, that's probably the better word.
It's either a attitude, oh well, it's done the thing I've got to do next on my tick list, or feeling that they are what was the word that was used there? Under pressured into it. Yeah. I can't remember what the article said, how it worded it, but both situations are sad, aren't they? A complacency or a pressure upon men to do the right thing in inverted commas. But I just wanted to ask. Sorry, go on. You say what you're going to say.
I was going to say, it's like the stats. They're quite difficult because it's like a two-edged sword, isn't it? Really, depending on what you believe about marriage. But if you believe that marriage is good and that people should only do certain things together when they're married and not when they're apart, or not, or
You're
just
talking
unmarried.
about physical things.
Yeah.
Physical aspects of love. Yes.
PG-13.
Yeah.
Then people are still doing that, but they're now doing it outside of marriage.
Yeah.
But would you want them to get married without even wanting to be married, as they used to, but then get divorced? It's like a two-edged sword. Like these stats, I don't know if it's good or bad. These stats.
I guess the solution to all the problems would be don't be douchebags.
Yes, it's suicide.
Yeah,
That's a bit harsh.
Is it?
Everybody, listen, nobody's perfect, are we? Let's just say that.
No.
Let's just caveat everything we're saying here by saying none of us are perfect. But as Christians, we also have a biblical perspective on marriage, and we believe that marriage is between two people for life. And we also believe that we should wait until marriage to have a physical intimacy. And so that's hopefully the way that we all agree from a biblical perspective.
And we can only talk about things on what we think. Obviously, other people will have different convictions and different thoughts around marriage and
that's
sex
why I say,
sure.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? We can cut this if you like, but do you think then that marriage should be only for Christians? Because it is a very Christian tradition, a custom, because it's all about bringing our relationship before God or whatever. And the idea of an atheist doing that seems a bit hypocritical or weird.
I think there's something in the innate human desire to want to, whatever faith or none that you belong to want to, because don't forget other religions believe in the sanctity of marriage as well. That there's something really about when you fall in love, you want to demonstrate your wholehearted commitment to that person by demonstrating it publicly in the act of a marriage service, isn't there? Now, whether that's something that only religious, let's broaden it a bit more wider to that, because I think to other religions marriage is equally sanctified. Or whether I do think that secular people should be able to marry.
But the thing is, marriage is it has a lot of religious overtones. You can get civil partnerships that are very non-religious.
And these days
that's just as good, isn't it?
Well,
why would an atheist get married?
These days, obviously, to have same-sex marriages, and that's quite a recent development, isn't it? But
relatively,
Anyway, it's just an interesting thought. We can move on to that.
No, I think it's worthwhile thinking about. I don't think anybody's got all the answers. I believe in a biblical concept of marriage. That's my personal belief, and I believe it's your personal beliefs as well. But within that, and not all Christians will agree on that, you know, not wanting to be wishy-washy about it, but some people have different views on that, don't they?
Yep.
And yeah, but I do believe that there's a in all these things, and I caveated all this by saying nobody's perfect and there's no judgment in any of this, but in all these things I believe that what we read about in the Bible is been put there as a guide to our lives for what works best, and the closer we can get to that, the easier life will usually tend to be for us. It's not always going to be true, but when we follow God's plan as closely as possible, then we are going to have an easier journey through life. If we choose to wander away from that and do other things and live different lifestyles, then we're probably going to store things up for ourselves that are going to be difficult. I know that's not always true, but that's just my perception of how life tends to go, how it works for most people. Any other
could
thoughts?
talk about that quite a lot, but it's kind of going off topic, I think.
Is it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you can bring that as another segment another time. Yeah. There's always a danger when we start having a spiritual conversation that we can be misunderstood, or we can be go far too deep for some of our listeners. But I really wanted to just kind of highlight, as this article said, there's some good news about men in this day and age, which there often isn't. You know, men seem to be more committed to lasting relationship than perhaps they used to be.
Yeah, I mean, marriage is a massive commitment.
Yeah.
And if you're not even thinking about it, there's no way you're going to succeed, are you?
No.
You've got to be prepared.
Yeah.
And committed, yeah.
Because marriage, when it fails, hurts people. It hurts the two people involved, and it hurts anybody around them. It hurts the children. It hurts others that are connected. You know, it's a horrible thing when marriages end badly. So it's important we take it seriously. It was a God-ordained institution that I believe is important, and thankfully, as I said already, let's celebrate that the numbers are going in the right direction, because men seem to be taking it more seriously.
Yeah.
And that wives seem to be less likely to initiate divorce than they used to be.
So good.
Which can only be a good thing.
What does hashtag Me Too?
Me Too. Okay,
what is that?
Yeah, well, it came about after certain Hollywood film producers were abusing their position and
sexually.
Yeah, doing things they shouldn't have done with their young starlet actresses. And once these things all came public, the hashtag Me Too became a Twitter social media hashtag that was demonstrating that actually there's stuff here that nobody dare talk about until now. And so,
someone comes out and says, "Hey, this happened," and another person says, "Me Too."
Yeah,
I see.
It may be
like a big post to be like hashtag Me Too. This happened. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
So it brought out into the open something that had previously been hidden. You know.
Yeah.
Which is
quite
thing,
controversial. Actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe we should get into that.
Okay.
Well, we're racking up topics for another episode, aren't we?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm going to close it there because we've wandered on a bit longer than I intended.
And now it's time for Random Chatting.
So last week we had a suggestion from one of our biggest fans ever.
Wow. I'm glad he found it, Roger.
Oh.
To listen to the album, but Last Night on Earth by Noah and the Whale. Interesting band name, by the way.
Yes.
Yes. What did you guys think of it? Did you listen to it?
Yep. Yeah.
A couple of times, actually. 3 times. 3
Wow.
times, yeah. 2.5, if I'm honest. I didn't get through the
I
third
did it twice.
one.
We'll check you out.
Yeah, knowing the whale last night on Earth. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
I didn't expect that at all.
didn't you?
Really? I thought
you
you'd
guess-
like it. It's very chill.
Can you think who it reminded me of?
Pet Shop Boys.
Was it?
No? Alright.
I don't think
Okay.
so. I don't know. Who?
I couldn't help but hear Fleetwood Mac in it.
Really?
all.
I thought you were going to say that, but I was like,
Yeah,
I was going
I
to
was-
say, this album was released in 2008. Why
Yeah.
does it feel so 80s?
I know.
It does feel
That's,
80s.
that's why I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I will continue to listen to. I don't know if this album is, if you like, indicative of everything else that they've produced, but and they're a band who don't exist. They've disbanded now, aren't they? I did look into it a little bit, unfortunately. Yeah.
Well, this is their third album, and they've
Yeah.
done 4.
I might search out some of their other material because I really enjoyed it.
did you guys
Tim.
recognise any of the songs?
Well, it's weird. You should say that because there's some of the songs. Oh, it also reminded me a bit of Bruce Springsteen, who's another singer. His voice reminded me of Bruce Springsteen. I love Bruce Springsteen music as well, and so yeah, I'm not sure. There was some of the songs I thought I've heard this before. Where have I heard this before? And I couldn't, and I forget which one it is now.
I definitely heard, and it's the most popular one, Lifegoes.
Yeah.
When
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that one.
Yeah.
I heard that several times before.
There's a bit
Yeah.
of choral singing going on, isn't there? It's like people in the background. I don't know if you can call it choral. I don't know music, but you know, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Is there some innuendo in amongst it? Some
Oh my!
in the lyrics?
I don't think there's any explicitity.
No swearing, but
No.
some of what the lyrics. I must admit, in listening to it, I didn't watch the lyrics as I'm listening, which I prefer to do, which I've done with other albums that we've looked at. But because then you can read the lyrics as well as listen to them, can't you?
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a couple of lines I thought, oh, that's a bit close to the.
Bit saucy.
Bit saucy, yeah. I love track 2. Tonight's the kind of night. Maybe that's the rude one. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm just looking at the album now. No, but that Lifegoeson is good.
Yeah.
Is that their best known one?
I think so. Yeah. By the looks of it, it's my popular one.
Yeah.
What I found quite odd. I don't know if this is normal, but surely the album name should be a song in the album, shouldn't it? Is that not the way it always is?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes it's like that, but sometimes not.
I was thinking, where's that Last Night on Earth song? It's not in there because it's not.
No. Sometimes they call that the title track if there's an
Yeah.
if there's
They
a
usually
track.
release it as a single
Yeah.
and then release the album.
Title track from an album will have the same name as the album, but not in every case. Yeah.
Okay. I found it quite fast-paced, sort of happy music.
Yes.
This is quite good.
Yes. I think it was very chill. It was very like feel-good music.
Feel good, definitely.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm glad I listened to it. And I'm glad it was suggested.
Oh
We're
wow.
gonna listen to it again.
Yeah.
wow.
Thumbs up then, I think, all round.
Well, I mean, I liked.
Come on then. That's
Yeah,
on
okay.
the good side. Now let's hear what else you've got to say.
But there was a good use of synth and actual instruments at the beginning.
Okay.
And then I liked how it ended with synth, just a long stream of synth, and the last track of the last at the end. There wasn't much synth, to be honest, and there was a bit of violin in there in one of the songs, which is quite
Yeah.
nice. But
Yeah.
the drums were so boring.
Oh, really?
Maybe I'm showing my ignorance of technical drumming
I
here,
need to
but
listen to it again.
I will. I didn't hear that. That didn't jump out at me, but I will try and listen out for that next time.
I feel like with a minimal amount of practice, even I could drum that song.
Okay. And you're not even the drummer in the family. Yeah.
No, that's yeah.
I know sometimes obviously the drums can be toned down a lot, even though what they're doing can be actually quite complicated.
Oh.
That can do that quite a lot in songs. But yeah, I have to listen to it again.
Well, the thing is, they were all kind of similar in beat, so I just found myself thinking it was drawn to my attention by the fact that it was quite generic. But apart from that, it was alright. Yeah, I found "Waiting for a Chance," which is one of the songs, quite enjoyable. Yeah, I would say it was my favourite.
Okay, good.
Well, thank you.
We don't have to drag that anymore. I think that was generally a good thumbs up, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't want to do how many generic drum beats out of 10 do you want to give it?
Go on then.
Go on then.
All right. How many generic drum beats out of 10 do you give it?
Let me say 6.5 generic drum beats out of 10.
Really? That's quite low.
I think it's alright. I'll say that's good.
I'll give it a little bit higher.
It's not great and it's not excellent. It's good. I think.
All right.
I'll give it like a 7.5. I think.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it as much as or more than Fleetwood Mac or Bruce Springsteen, who I felt it most closely reminded me of. But that's because I've grown up with them as my favourite artist. But yeah, there are modern day equivalents that it brought good feelings. Yeah.
Wow. Nice. I'd give it a solid 5.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't know if I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't bad. It was just yeah, it was just music, which was great. Maybe I don't have an ear for music, to be honest. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Not bad then. Not too bad.
Not bad.
Yeah. Thank you, and thank you to Tim for recommending it.
Yeah.
Woot.
Well done.
It's homework time and toodaloo.
Cool. So for next week, a little project or a little escapade into the world, as much as we can do these days. Our homework, we thought about doing a game called Hearthstone. Hearthstone, yes.
Yeah, as in hearth, as in where your fireplace is.
Exactly.
Not HALF, not that half.
No,
But hearth.
Yeah. That's one. Hearthstone.
Make that clear in case anybody wants to search the game out. Yeah.
You can get it on your phone.
And it's all one word. All one word. Yeah.
Hearthstone. You can get it on your phone, it's for free, or you can get it on your computer as well.
Okay.
Whatever you fancy.
Oh, what
It's
we can
quite
do
a
with
popular
it?
game, isn't it?
I know nothing about it.
Just give it a little go. I think
bit of play and
there's not really anything you can do a challenge with. You just got to play a few matches. It's basically a card game. Play a few matches.
There's no survival mode that we can see how long we last or anything like that.
Unfortunately.
As far as I can tell, it's sort of a dumbed down version of Magic the Gathering.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know if that's fair, but
It is.
that's
it
my
is
impression.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, I'm open to see what it's got.
New experiences.
Yeah. Well, at least that's a good thing about this podcast. It does give us opportunity to experience new things, doesn't it?
Things we hate.
Yeah.
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 A lot of the time, yeah.
Excellent. So we'll be talking about that next week as well, just like we did with the whale. If any of our listeners want to also join in, have a little go with it. It's free. Send us a message. Email us on theoryofanything@hotmail.com or comments of YouTube, whatever. And then you also go on Twitter as well at theoryofanything, TING at the end. Let us know what you think, or anything about the episode, or anything.
Or any of our previous 11 episodes. Yeah.
Anything.
Go and check out our back catalogue.
Top quality rewatch.
Yeah.
There is. I was flicking back through the episodes and I was like, wow, I remember this. That's
I
quite good.
I listened to one of the segments because if you have, some listeners might have noticed on YouTube, we're releasing the segments separately as shorter videos.
Yeah.
And so not that there's anything to watch. I keep coming back to that, don't I? It's just a stationary photo of us, but audio clips on YouTube. And I listened to one the other day and I'd forgotten all about our conversation. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, thank you.
You love the sound of your own voice, though, don't you? So it's okay.
No, that's the worst thing about it. Yeah.
I joke, it's fine.
Thank you. I think that brings us up to the end of the show.
That's a wrap.
Yeah,
Oh,
success.
but I want to keep going.
Not too bad.
Oh,
Oh, you have to come back next week.
fair enough.
Okay, guys, look forward to seeing you around the microphone again next time.
Bye.
Bye.